can tell her, you can tell her anything. She's a real good listener. You can tell her anything.
All right.
I'm happy to be a follower.
We are sheep.
I get to follow so few people, you know? It's very nice to get to follow. I trust you.
Okay. All right, I'm going to start. Yo, what's up? It's your girl, Father Longlegs. This is me, Daddy T. You know me, Teresa Lee. This is You Can Tell Me Anything, the podcast where comedians confess something they want to get off their chest. I am very excited for my guests today. Yes, that's right. You heard guests with an S. This is the special Valentine's Day episode. I know nobody asks for Valentine's Day specials, but I love talking to couples. I feel like, I've said this before, but it feels like when mom and dad get along, and I love it. So I've invited a power comedy couple onto this podcast. They are both very, very funny. I will introduce them both. The host of Who Wants 269 and, is Martin Urbano, and a Rizzo power couple, writer and creator, and also creator of the character Penis CK and so many other funner things, Kelsey Caine. What's up? Sorry, I wrote both of your things in two separate lines, and then I started reading them together, and then I messed it up. But hello, thanks for being on the show. I love this.
When you said it was a Valentine's Day episode, I was like, oh, is it Valentine's Day?
It's right around the corner.
It's like it's
I like
January
to do things
still.
early. I'm a Virgo moon, so I like to be prepared.
I was like, truly, I know it's February 14th.
Today's the 3rd-ish, something like that, and then it's on the 14th. I'm a Taurus. What does that mean? And how do I know if I got a moon or not?
Everyone has a moon.
And I'm a Virgo. Should we break up?
You're a Virgo also?
This is
I'm a Virgo.
a
Are you a Virgo?
podcast.
Did you just say
No,
that?
I'm a Virgo moon. No, I get so much flack for talking about astrology that I really shouldn't. But the short version
Why?
is no,
People
because
are just mean about it.
I
I
confess,
like it.
I know nothing about astrology.
Yeah, we don't know
because
anything,
I talk
so
about
we
it
just
in a
like
serious
it.
way. Like, not seriously, like, I make fun of myself because I know the stereotype of LA girls who like astrology, but also I, like, do know a little bit more about, like, the astronomy of it.
You know what? We don't know the stereotype, so if you could just tell us what the stereotype is, that'd be great. Maybe do,
That's
like,
a
a
good
little
point.
character for us.
Well, I feel that a lot of people think astrology is very, like, feminine, but in that a lot of men think that it's stupid. You know what I mean? Like, that's depending on how you
like
view.
sports.
Yeah.
Like what sports is for boys.
Yeah, like not
Astrology
washing
is
your
for
hair
girls.
so that your team might win the playoffs, that kind of thing. But it's not
Oh my
stupid.
God.
Superstition that kind of
okay.
makes
Yeah.
you feel
But if you
good.
have a penis, it's
makes
not
you-
stupid. So
Right.
that's how that works.
Oh, I think sports are like
right,
so
which is what
dumb.
everyone says.
I hope I'm not thinking that your audience is super into sports. I think sports is so dumb. It's like
I
so
think
funny
everything
to me.
And for anybody
is-
who likes sports, hey, I'll watch it with you, and I'll root for whoever
I
you
like
want to
that
watch.
It
But-
was very important for me when I was like I'm dating. I didn't want someone who liked sports very much.
Oh,
Like I was
really?
fine if they liked it like a little bit. And
Me
so Martin
personally,
doesn't
I
like
love sports.
This is so
I love it.
interesting.
Wiffle ball, you got badminton.
That's
I love
it.
sports.
It just took me a long time to realize I didn't even know the rules to sports. Like I didn't realize. I was like, I don't know why
Takes
I
a
don't
little
have
bit of paying
any
attention, I suppose.
interest. And it's like I don't even know like conceptually what they're doing.
This is
Well, I
really-
learned right away that people love when you're watching sports with them. If you ask questions,
Yeah,
they
is this
love
the
to
good guy?
talk
Who's
about
the
it
bad
and
guy?
explain.
You got to ask those kinds of questions. When do
Right.
they kiss?
So,
Things like that.
I think astrology is no dumber than sports. And good for you.
Thank you.
I think
I
the
will
big
say,
also-
okay, for the
I think
record,
it's nice to
I-
have interest.
For the record, I think everything's a little dumb because I do like sports and astrology, but I also don't take it.
How
out of-
dare you like sports? Is this even my podcast?
But
What's happening?
But I will say, to be fair,
Take it back.
okay, you know what? I feel like this is bisexual slander, and I cannot take this. Well, okay, I already really like this dynamic, but I do like to start with a good confession, and I thought it would be fun for our audience to get to know you, since there's two of you and you're dating, to confess something good about each other. So it's sort of like a humble brag. You can use it as a way to like hype each other up, but usually people,
like,
just something
I
nice.
say something good about Kelsey to her, or I say something good
or
about
to
myself
us,
to her.
to all of us.
What's like a
Mark
Teresa? Can
Maron.
you just give me an example? Like,
Oh, sure.
what's something that you would say?
You can't think of a single nice thing to say to me to the point you're
I thought
asking
it
her
was-
what an example
I'll
is
give
of
you
a
one.
nice thing.
This is,
I thought it was okay. Wait.
No, I'll give you one. It's I just tell people to start with a positive thing because sometimes it goes dark. But I actually have one today, so this will be a good way to lead by example. Because yesterday, Martin, as you know, I did your show, and I was slightly late because I was trying to drop off flowers at my boyfriend's place because it was
Aww.
our anniversary. But we don't hang out on the week because he
Valentine's
works.
Day. That's
Well,
so sweet.
yeah. This is pre-recorded. But I've never had a 1-year anniversary, so I just like didn't know I was supposed to do something, and then I was like, oh, I want to get him flowers. But then I thought he didn't do anything, and then today I checked my mail, and I just haven't checked it in a week, and he sent me a love letter, and I was like, and I was honestly very impressed that he didn't break the surprise, because when I didn't say anything, I think he was like, I'll just wait till she sees it, like however long that takes. So that's my good confession.
I like that. I like that he
It's just
wrote
nice
you a letter.
thing. Yeah.
That's
I
nice.
I
Okay.
don't think you have to do anything for anniversaries.
I am
think
very
that's a
needy.
myth.
We've been together over 5 years. We're still celebrating our month anniversary
Yes.
all the time. Is that weird?
Martin's
the
always like telling me that we have a specific anniversary, and
It's in March.
he's always telling me he has the same birthday every year, and I'm like, okay, well, we'll see when that comes.
Well, okay, so I'll start it with we were watching The Walking Dead, and I'm a big fan of The Walking Dead, and we got to the character of Negan, who's a big character that people, he has a bat, everybody loves
Are
it.
you familiar with The Walking Dead? Are you a deadhead?
I didn't watch it, but I'm familiar with there was a twist with Negan. I remember.
Negan, yeah, that character's the one that people know.
He's
and,
hot though, so you can watch him for a while.
He's
he
cool,
is fun
and-
to look at.
and so I started
Jeffrey
doing-
Dean Morgan.
like an impression of him, because I'm just Jeffrey Dean Morgan is like playing this villain, and he's just like having so much fun with it, and I just think it's like a fun voice. So I started doing the voice, and Kelsey would just kind of be like scared.
Do the
She's
voice.
like,
He's okay.
Holy shit! If it ain't Carl the Badass. So that's one that I've been
That's
working
a very good impression,
Okay.
but this character is a character who is just a murderer.
Oh, so he's scary. So
So
He's
scary.
just a murderer.
He kills a beloved
And
character.
he's very
or
organized.
two
He's a very
or several.
organized murderer. He's like can collect people to like follow him to murder
wow.
and
so
to
he's
like
like
torture
a cult
people.
A
leader.
genocidal
And
leader.
so Martin really clung on to that in his soul. He
I like
really
the impression.
identified.
I like doing it. Anyway, so I thought I got sad that I wasn't allowed to do my scary impression with the person I've been, stuck in a place with for a year. But then
I told him it was a good impression. I said it was good. I said it personally is scary to have a murderer be coming at me all the time.
and I would come at her, and that was my fault.
He
I would
also-
grab a bat and I would come at her.
He
and
also
maybe I
does
shouldn't have
Seth
done that.
Rogen, and that is very fine. I'm fine with that. I would easily date Seth Rogen,
I
so
don't
it's
know how to do
not.
Seth
It was
Rogen.
not a big deal.
I can only do Negan. But anyway, so she gets.
So I'm gathering that you guys make good conversation is what I'm gathering is the good confession here.
Close. So she gets. I get my Christmas present. It takes a little bit of time to get
Christmas always comes at the same time every year too. It's like, what is this? Who's done this?
here. And what she gets me is a little Funko Pop of
Oh
Negan.
my gosh, that's so cute. Oh, see that was a great twist because I didn't know where you're going with that, and you have a prop in your hand.
I'm a prop comic.
Really-
We're both
old
really
habits
tied it
die hard.
together.
For our prop comedy.
That's very cute.
But that just made me very happy. It felt like a ringing endorsement of an understanding of where I come from with my enjoyment and my
That's
like of that
sweet.
character. And it was really nice.
That's
and
really
that just
sweet.
happened very recently, so that's fresh in my mind.
I love it, Kelsey.
And
what about
that's
you?
something that you like about me is that I got you a gift.
Hey, we're not judging confessions here. That's okay. It's just
I went
something
off
that
of,
makes
like,
you
that-
happy.
Teresa's was like a gift related thing, so that's kind of what sparked it in me.
And you said
Let's
that.
get to the bad confessions. I got tons.
And you said that I could go dark.
Really the good confession is
good
usually like a
confession.
one-line happy thing just to like kind of start on a light note. But I guess if you want to go dark, you can. But just say since Martin did it, I think it'd be nice, Kelsey, if you also have a good confession.
It would be nice. It would.
Oh, boy.
It's fascinating because I feel like I've talked to you both individually, but never together. But knowing your comedy styles, I just can tell that you guys make each other laugh all the time, which is really nice.
I wish.
Wait,
We just don't talk all day, and then we slot an hour for ourselves to just talk, like to do our stand-up basically
we
for an
call
hour.
it fun, sporadic conversation.
And if the other
It's
person
scheduled.
starts to talk, we say stop heckling, and then we finish our hour.
Wow. Is it well, okay, on a serious note though, because I do sometimes feel like, you know, when you're on stage all the time, I definitely cry a lot to my boyfriend, and I'm like, I bet you didn't know how much crying would be involved dating a comedian. But I do think, like, because you guys understand, like, the other side of life that's not just on stage, is it, like, are you guys each other's, like, confidants where you're like, I'm going to let out all my emotions? Or are you kind of generally just, like, a jolly person?
I'm just happy I don't have to give Martin a compliment.
I know we did. We're gonna circle back to it. A good confession. I gotta hear it.
It's really funny too, this like compliment thing, because it's like it's been years that I'm like, if I'll when you were talking about being sad, I'll be like, Martin, how come you can't give me better compliments, more specific? Like
It makes me feel really bad.
why can't you just tell me the small details of my personality you just like really like and just say them all the time?
It's because I mean, we definitely are like pretty emotional people. Like sometimes I'll just have a couple drinks and then go downstairs and then just start screaming up Stella, which is just a fun thing we do. I'm just very emotional that way. But I've tried to give compliments when Kelsey is sad, upset, and have gotten very negative feedback sometimes from my compliments, that it makes me scared to like say the wrong thing. And I'm definitely somebody who thinks actions speak louder than words.
And I think
so I'm
words
like, okay, as long
speak
as I can keep
louder.
my actions.
I'm like, you're a professional entertainer. You can't fucking lie to me or whatever. What is this?
Wow.
I have a very weird
Just like
relationship
I'm
with
like
performance
just
and lying and
perform
artifice and whatever
what I
all
think
this
love
works.
is.
Just write a
Could you
script
perform
for him
some
and be
love
like,
at me?
you booked it. Just, this is what you're going to say to me tomorrow morning. It's like, you are beautiful. And just like,
But
I didn't memorize my lines. I'm gonna get in trouble.
I have definitely been told that it is probably not fine, and I shouldn't be judging Martin's compliments so much.
this is why I do this, because comedians always have a hard time saying good things about themselves.
How
And
dare you say anything negative about any comedian
I
ever.
because
know
like,
what
people
you're saying.
don't like to brag about themselves, which is like in the world you don't want to, but people, you're not the only one who gets uncomfortable doing this. But now that you're in the hot seat, I kind of want to see you push through it.
Oh no, I give great compliments all the
really good.
time.
She's really
I give
good at it.
wonderful,
bad.
inspirational speeches to Martin when he's down. I'm like, have you ever like seen League of Their Own? Like I'm like
You're, like,
watching
getting
League
down.
of Their
Yeah,
Own.
okay, you're
I'm like,
coaching.
I will pep you up. So I know I'm not giving that to this podcast, but I
see.
can.
I understand.
Okay.
Well,
You ready? I'll do it. I'm gonna give it to him. I'm cracking my knuckles. Can you guys hear that? I'm getting ready to give the compliment of my life. All right. Martin, no middle name, Urbano. I am trying to get him to change it to Kelsey, though, because I'm like, Kelsey
Wow.
Urbano would be cute.
Bold.
How do you get middle name?
like Kelsey Grammer. I don't know. It's the only man Kelsey I can think of.
Here's my Martin
He's
compliment.
the man.
Martin is a very kind person. I cannot say that about very many people. Martin is deeply, deeply kind. He cares a lot about the people in his life. He cares a lot. He wants them to be okay. He wants them to know he cares for them. He wants to have deep relationships with people. And his timidness in reality is like allotted to just certain people, because you're very flamboyant on stage. You're very kind with your friends behind closed doors. And then when you get just like kind of in regular public, you're like a little bit shy.
Aw.
This is a compliment.
I know, this is so sweet. Okay, because I know people can't see this, but like the dynamic it's so sweet. Like your faces, it's very genuine. Like I love how Martin, you like listened and it was very nice.
Well, holy
It was very nice.
shit.
See,
Now
I know
that's
it.
a compliment.
Martin told me the other day when we were fighting, I listen to most of the things that you say and you're always talking.
I don't remember saying that, but I believe it and I
Oh
stand
my
by
god, that's okay. I talk so much, and I literally like My boyfriend's not a comedian at all, and one time I just like talked at him, and then at the end of my, I guess it really was a monologue, but I thought we were conversing. He just said, "That's a lot of thoughts," and I was like, you know what? That's a really great reply, because it was like just enough to be like, I really don't even know what to answer parts of this, but also knowing that.
Sometimes communication's not like that, though. Sometimes you don't need an answer to everything.
That's the thing. I felt good because it was truthful, and that's what I'm seeing is like the truthful communication. Like, I know it's silly to say like, oh, I'm asking for more compliments, but that's actually really hard. I feel like half the time, I mean, obviously
he writes jokes. He's a writer.
It's all fake.
But you guys have been together long time, so you have to communicate, and I feel like that is the kind of thing. That it works. It really does work.
I feel like the people that are listening to this are like, she seems like unhappy or something's going on there.
No, because they listen to me, and I
brought it up. I'm unhappy.
Well, I don't know. Okay, I don't want to like, this isn't a couples podcast just to talk about your relationship, but just real quick, because I'm curious. Earlier you said, we'll get into it, but earlier you were saying the anniversary thing, and that did make me curious. So you were saying you do count it, and that Kelsey, you don't. Like, so I'm just kind of curious to explore that. Like, what do you count it from? Like your first date?
I'm comfortable with it. I'm not counting.
But were you guys like courting, or like were you like dating? Like, you know, do you count from like, I'm gonna be your boyfriend? This is what I've never understood, because I've never been in a, well, I guess this is the first time I've been in a. I was
just talking to I would like to say a child, but I think she's like 20. I think she's almost 25, if I'm being honest. I think she's like 24. Yeah. Just not that much younger than me, but her attitude was very, and she's like, but like, what are the rules for like, shouldn't you get like married, and when is someone your boyfriend, and blah blah blah. And I was like, you sound crazy. I'm like, what's wrong with you?
I don't think there's rules, but I do think that two people should have some understanding between them.
100%. Just those two people, no one else.
But I will say that is true if you've had good models of healthy relationships, and if you haven't, then you may fall into the trap of being manipulated, which I have, where like I'm like, oh, there's no rules, this person doesn't like labels and I like them, and 3 years later you're like, oh, they've been telling that to a lot of different people. Okay, great, I thought we had an understanding.
Okay, that's totally a different thing. Yes, that is incredibly valid and horrible.
Which also makes me go extremely the other way sometimes, where I'm like, we must be together, and the other guy's like, at some point,
I honestly think the girl that I was talking to might have actually suffered from similar things. And so she was like very clinging on to like, what is she really wanted me to say, she's like, well, I respect your opinion because you and Martin have been dating a long time. I'm like, that doesn't mean anything.
It means everything.
It means literally nothing.
It only means anything if she's trying to date you for a long time.
Yeah, right? If she's trying to join our relationship, then yeah, it's like good if she knows that.
She's like, how did he date you? I want to date you.
I could really seeing her breaking us if we let her join our relationship.
Yeah.
How do you guys, because, okay, this podcast is loosely inspired by, I started going to therapy pretty late, but what I really found was it's just really...
You're very young. Late in life?
Yeah,
you're incredibly young.
Oh, well, thank you. But some people go when they're like, you know... I feel like it's like... culturally, it was kind of frowned upon in my family. And so it wasn't until I went to college and was in my 20s in New York that I even considered going. But then it totally changed the way I express myself and like kind of like deal with my own mental health, because just being able to talk about things... so I usually like to ask people what their like sort of experience with that is. But since you guys are a couple, like, do you guys talk to each other about like when you're going through anything, or do you need advice, or like are you guys each other's confidant, or do you have like a system where you, I don't know, seek that from other friends, or how do you guys navigate that?
She's definitely my golden girl, my friend, and my confidant.
He's my best boy.
She always
that's a film term. Okay, so
yeah. I mean, we tell each other a lot. I mean, especially this past year, it's just like also been hard to just be together all the time and feel like what you're saying is anything new or different, or you're bringing something to the table. So I think there's been a lot of I mean, not fights, but just like a little bit less of like, okay, I have a problem, I got to go to Kelsey right away. I'm like, okay, how are some other ways that I can figure this out? Because I'm just gonna chill out and play video games for a bit, and I can just maybe I'll just call my mom or my sister or something, and that'll be my solution. But I definitely, if I have an actual problem that I know, I've kind of been able to identify what really does affect me and when something really is weighing on my mind. And of course I have to talk to Kelsey about it because she's my partner. Partner in crime.
Yeah, the quarantine thing, it's really, I feel like, been it's interesting year because I feel like a lot of people have gotten like so much closer, but in the ways, like we're all joking like, oh, it sucks to be stuck with someone, but in a way you have to almost like heal your own traumas. This is what I found from being alone and talking to other people who have been alone. It's like, I guess I am just gonna operate on myself right now and just figure it out.
Well, when you were like talking about mental health and stuff, there has been times in my life, not during quarantine, that have been much more difficult than quarantine emotionally. And so, like at the beginning of quarantine, everyone was like very, very sad. And I was like, honestly, it's just nice to take a break.
I know, and I do, yeah.
Then I got regular quarantine feelings like everyone else. But I have felt sadness that was sadder than everybody canceling all the parties.
Well, some of what I think what it is it re-triggered people. Like, I definitely feel like a lot of PTSD came back for people in quarantine. Because it's just like the stimulation and the like new experiences you might be able to escape from, like just to go to the bar or go dancing, you're not having. So it's just like your memories on repeat like over and over.
Yes, I let my thoughts go wild, and it's not the best.
Well, like
I overthink things. I mean, I have always felt like a little bit of that feeling of not paranoia or whatever. Just like what's that feeling where everything's going on without you, or everybody's like hanging out without you? FOMO. I would kind of get that, but like now it's just like another level where it comes in waves where I'm like, is everybody like doing stuff without me? And then I just see everybody, luckily everybody's being pretty open online and really open when you talk to them and stuff, and everyone's just like, yeah, I'm having a hard time. And it's like, okay, I think everybody's feeling the same feeling, but it still comes in waves, and I still can't help but feel like am I not doing enough or whatever? Because I would thrive on going and getting instant gratification every single night for years and years and years now. Without that, it's
I think that probably has taken a toll on. We're young, like as much as we've performed, like it just recently became our lives. It's like I'm sure that had a lot harder. Like if you're like 50. Yeah. You're like a 50-year-old struggling comedian who's just about to make it. I bet quarantine was really hard on you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You had to figure out TikTok. I bet they didn't. I bet they couldn't do it.
The other thing, the FOMO thing is interesting because it's interesting you said you felt it more during quarantine, because I feel like I used to get that a lot, especially like being in comedy, there's always something going on and sometimes you just want to chill, but then you're like, I don't want to miss out. But during quarantine, I feel like that went away from me, and I really liked it. Like I really liked being able to not have to like go to a birthday party. I didn't want to go.
It wasn't about me not going. It was about the event not happening.
Yeah, nobody's getting closer without me. No, I think people are still podding up, but it's in a way where I don't feel I need to be in every pod. It's like I have my own friends, and then like you can say hi to your friends, like your peripheral friends, but you don't have to be like. I don't know. There's this weird thing with. I don't know if it's like this still in New York, but I started there, but I moved away like pretty shortly after. But I remember the feeling was like you need to be like seen at the party, even if you're not having a meaningful interaction. It's like that you were there, like you're part of it. Which I don't feel that need now, but
that's like all of show business and like all the entertainment field. It's like and that's the thing. Kelsey would feel like all of the FOMO that you're talking about, and now she's saying it went away.
I like to go to things. Like it was more like because I liked to go to things than that I wanted to be. There are places I wanted to be that I didn't want to be seen at even.
Okay.
And I was like, I just think it's an interesting thing
that you attend.
Yeah. I mean
the coup.
I mean literally after I did Penis CK, like people's feelings towards me in the comedy world were so polarized, and then now that it's been quarantine. These people haven't seen me in like over a year. It's like, I'm sure they're not going to fucking care at all.
Yeah,
But to
that
me,
is.
I'm sure of it. If you still hate me now, it's like, you can really hold an insane grudge.
People who have strong emotions towards you in general. I mean, obviously it always sounds nicer to be like, they love me. But I think that in general, having a strong emotion, even if it's hate, it's like, it's a weird bond. It's like, why are you obsessed with me kind of thing, you know? Not like, but you know what I mean? It's like, you're living rent-free in their head in a way. I know that's probably not helpful to hear because I also get really upset with trolls, but in a way I'm like,
mean,
it's
why
weird.
are you
It's
talking about
odd
me?
behavior.
I could
Yeah.
care less about trolls. I think that people in comedy who have been interesting to me are people who will willingly say things in front of me about me or to other people about me or on the internet, like very accessible people that I know. I'm like, that's interesting.
Well, it's a good thing you don't have to see those people. But this is a good segue to speaking about people in front of people. Ooh, do you like that transition?
Perfect.
Solid word.
Seamless. Grubhub.
Well, let's start with you, Kelsey, since let's turn the tables of other people saying things to you. Kelsey, is there something you'd like to tell us about Martin or tell Martin? Tell Martin.
Wait, I'm supposed to tell
Martin
tell me.
something.
I'm telling
You're
Tell
telling
me a
Martin
confession, a
something
public
about
confession.
me.
Confess something to Martin. It could be about anything, but something
But
hopefully he
anything in the whole
doesn't,
world.
that you may have never said to him. It doesn't have to be like scandalous, but.
I'll go first because I got a confession.
Yeah,
you have a
you got
confession?
one. Let's go with Martin.
I got a confession.
Do you feel bad
Kels.
about not being able to give me better
It
compliments?
hurts my feelings when you say that I don't give you good compliments. I try. I am trying my best. I try to think of the right words. I definitely am trying.
Like, I'm
And
just saying,
that's what
like,
I want
I'm
to make
submitting
clear.
I'm submitting the packet for him to be able to give me good compliments every single day, and he's just like,
Interesting.
I don't want to fill this out.
It's an
Wait, I want to
unpaid
know more.
internship.
Okay, can you give me just an example of what you mean? I mean, I kind of loosely understand this like coaching thing because I literally do the same to my boyfriend who is an engineer, and I'm like, I want flowers. But and it's not because I don't think he, it's like not that I don't think he doesn't love me,
Flowery
you know.
words.
But it's you're
Right.
telling him how you want to, like you're telling him because you love him that you're like helping him speak your language. But where's he starting from? Like what is a not
something? I want like a pump up.
what's
I
like a
don't
not
even
good
want,
compliment? Just so we know what.
Like, oh, you look really pretty. I'm like, yeah, I know. Who cares? That's like not what I want. I know I look really pretty. I tried or whatever.
Okay, so
A good compliment is, Kelsey, you're just intrinsic personality and just
Intrinsic?
who you are.
I have to use the word intrinsic.
Yeah,
All right.
and
That's
just
a
like
tough one.
who
I'm
you
gonna do
are. You don't have to use the word intrinsic. You're taking the wrong things from this.
Intrinsic
it's
is
your
what
love
I'm writing that
language
down.
words.
See, it's like I don't want to say he's trying to fail, but
I have another
keep
theory.
talking,
Okay.
sorry.
Well, I have a theory, but I want to know a little bit more about this because when you guys first met, Kelsey, what was it that, because it seems like a love language of like being complimented or specifically being seen. So obviously he caught your eye when you met him. So was he different in the beginning? Like, did he like court you in a way that like made you feel that way? Or like,
did he court me?
or
Yeah,
what
like,
is it that you're like comparing it to, I guess? Like, is it a version of him or is it something that you have seen in another, you know, like from your parents, or I guess like what is the model of like a good compliment?
Okay, you know what? I'm seeing now that I think that the word compliment isn't the right word. I want him to provide me with a stable sense that I think when you said our scene, that's better. I'm like, I just want him to tell me I'm going to be successful every single day.
Security.
That's really what
you want to feel safe.
I just like out loud want him to be like, you're going to figure it out because you're just you and that's just what you do. And you're just like so going to figure everything out and everything's just going to work out. Even when it doesn't, it really is going to work out because that's just how things work for you because you just keep going.
Do you?
Which I feel like that.
Yes.
And I feel like that, and I just am not as good at expressing it because then in my mind I start getting all the caveats. Like I don't have a good, healthy kind of
I think
self-esteem.
it's that he doesn't have that
very
in
positive
his
thing.
his
So
own self.
so you know it's
like I have that for
so
my
she's
own
like-
self and I have that for him. So I'll say both of those things out loud.
Interesting.
she wants like you're gonna be successful you're gonna be awesome. You're gonna be a star, and I believe it with the bottom of my heart.
This was like the best he's ever done. I'll take it.
And when that happens, it works out. But then I start getting in my own head, and I'm like, because sometimes I'm going through my own feelings of maybe I'm not going to make it, and maybe I'm not. Maybe this isn't going to work out, and maybe this isn't important, and maybe it's not, and maybe like other things are important.
But your own and if scale. You don't make it, don't you feel like I'm going to make it?
Well, okay, so it's like your own scale is different, right? So to you, your values, the values of what like your value is that that's not as important to why you like her, but Kelsey. Like that's important to why you like you.
Like me?
Well, it's why you like you, right? And so you want to be assured that he sees that in you, because if he doesn't, then it makes you feel insecure about how much he likes you. But to him, that's not the reason he likes
me. I think this is all about me. Well, I don't think it has almost anything to do with him.
Especially the more I learned about how unfair the industry is, how mean people are, how the deck is stacked against people, how, like...
So you're like realistically going, yeah, but the chances...
and that's what I don't want to do.
Yeah, sure.
But like I do it to myself in my head, so it seeps out and infects what could be just a nice pep talk into being like, but... and I think it goes back to kind of like how I was raised of like, I had to like fight to be a comedian, like so hard for my parents. I mean, I'm sure like a lot of people were just like, the parents didn't approve, but
were you not like, were you raised like more like your parents expected a lot? Like you weren't always like participation trophy pumped up?
Yeah, no, not at all. Like a very, very different vibe from that. But, but my parents loved me, and I always knew that, and they always made sure I knew that, and I absolutely feel it. But it's definitely like a feeling of, no, you just have to be careful. Be careful. That to me is like my parents' like big thing. So cautiousness.
It's the way that you
bring to love.
The love. Essentially, I feel like people say love language, but that's kind of like a very like limited view of it, because I think those are only limited to like words, gifts, whatever. But how you felt love and accepted love as a child does kind of equate, unless you actively change it, and you don't have to. But you guys have different definitions of love. Like to you, being supported no matter what, even if they're not telling you like you're the best and going to be great, is love. And so you're giving that to Kelsey. Whereas Kelsey may have had a different model, so she may not be feeling like you're giving her the version of love. I don't know if that rings true.
And I'll just squash this, is if your parents gave you a pep talk that you're going to do well in your career, how much would that make you feel good?
I mean, well, but I also, I can...
No, Martin.
Oh.
At the beginning of quarantine, when, so I was doing like this competition show, this unnamed stand-up competition show, and I lost in the first round immediately, and then got sent, and Kelsey wasn't in New York, and so I was just like, just send me back home to like my family, and I went back, and then the next day it was like global pandemic, everything's shut down, and everybody was saying that like, who knows when live performance is going to come back, and everyone's saying that, and I just like kind of broke down to my mom. I was like, Mom, I have no idea what I'm doing, I don't know what to do right now. She was just like, just give up. I was just like, Mom, this is not what I'm looking for. It's gonna be okay. Give me it. You pivot. You're smart.
Okay, and in that,
so it's like I understand.
In that moment, if your mom had said, Martin, failure is just something that happens on your way to success. You have to fail. It's a part of just getting there. And I'm just so proud of you for trying. And like, no one cannot see how hard you've worked. And I just think that even though you feel so bad right now, you're gonna look back on this and be like, wow, I had to go through that to get to where I'm successful, because I learned so much from that experience, and failure's inevitable.
You really should write some sides out and just have Martin practice them. I feel like they're...
If I had a deck of flashcards, that'd be awesome.
I want something that I think all people should get, and that I give very freely to people that I believe in.
Well, can I want to add something, because as I can relate to both of you, because I've been I'm what you're doing, Kelsey, in your relationship. I'm like that with my boyfriend, but I grew up like how Martin is, with my parents. And I think I don't know if this rings true to you, but part of it is if he suddenly makes the jump to this is the only way to love someone, then, and he hasn't like reconciled the way him and his mom are, then you're kind of skipping to a reality where like, if this is the only way, then that means mom doesn't love me. So there has to be, I think, a gradual shift to understanding there's a nuance to it of like, my mom loved me this way because these are the resources she had, but I can love this way because I have new resources. But if you just jump to this is the way to love, period, then you have to accept that every other way is wrong, which does kind of change the past and how you look at it. Does that kind of, I don't know if that kind of makes sense.
That makes a lot of sense. And yeah, it's a process, and I'm working on it. And would you say that I've stayed about the same the whole time, or have I gotten like incrementally better? I'm worried to hear this answer, so maybe
Kelsey, do you encourage him when he does it closer to what you want? Like, are there positive reinforcements? Like, has he given a recent compliment that was like, ooh, that was good?
Okay, compliment is not the right word. I mean
pep talk?
A inspirational speech that will turn around the course of your emotional core.
Have you thought that maybe he's learning from you, though? What if have you ever thought that maybe how like bright and positive you are, you're actually spending time with him and he's learning from you. So you're actually like, it's like symbiotic. He's remodeling it by being with you.
And do you think by being with Martin, I've gotten more negative?
Well, no, I think that what Martin's talking about is he wants to be.
I'm just asking her. She seems to have a lot of insight.
I don't know enough about your relationship to say that, but I would guess no, because you seem like a very smart person who if you feel that way truly, you probably would have gotten yourself out of the situation. So I don't think so. But obviously, I don't know the details of your relationship. But okay, I'll add this kind of silly example, because like, when you're saying this, it made me think of this. I have a problem with like dirty talk when it's lying, okay? Because I love to dirty talk, but like I can't, like I'll stop myself because I will never want to be like, oh my God, your dick is so big, if I know that they don't think it is, because I don't want them to be like, I don't trust you and we both know. Like, do you know what I mean? So I don't know if that's what you're talking about. And I'm not saying this is not about anyone specific.
Okay.
But I tend to like to be honest about it. You know?
I know he feels this way in his heart. Like, I know he thinks that I'm going to be overwhelmingly successful, and that's why he's with me and such.
Well, the
and,
point is,
we
like,
work
I'm
together
just
so
like,
much.
In the same way,
so it's
I'm
like I wouldn't
falsity.
feel like he's lying to me if he was trying to hype me up.
But he might not have the same definition of success. Like, in the same way, I'm like, you're the person I want to be having sex with, and I'm going to be happy. But like, if I'm like, oh my God, I've never seen a dick this big, and you must be like the biggest, like, that is when I start to go, I'm not being authentic. Whereas, like,
authenticity.
So
that
he's telling you he loves you no matter if you make it or not, and you're saying you want him to love you because you're going to make it.
You know what? I think just as a professional performer who's been in a relationship with me now for 5 years, if he can't master this skill, then every once in a while he should make a PowerPoint or something.
Interesting.
And fucking give yourself some homework to
Martin.
Give me what I'm asking for.
Like a gesture of love. I can do that.
That could be, I mean, honestly.
Like, if it's not something that just rolls off the cuff, then it's like just like try.
If Martin made you a PowerPoint and it was funny and it got specific, would you be happy about that?
I would cry. I would sit there and I'd cry.
Good. I mean, that would be a good outlet.
I would sit there and I would cry.
Sometimes I just sit there just thinking about how much I love her, and then I don't say anything. Because I'm just like, I just love her. And then I'll just give her a look and be like, that was me saying that, feeling all those feelings. So if I just took those feelings out of my head, put them into, .ppx, then it would be...
Use your love language, comedy. Yeah. And then it's a way that marries both the compliments and the writing. I mean,
I'm just think as a professional writer and performer, if you can't
I have an odd relationship with performance. I have
it's the thing like everyone else is odd and
but who's a performer?
In a way, Martin is telling you that he doesn't think of you as a job and a source of stress the way he does with his career, because you provide a unconditional support and love.
I'm saying I think he should. And that's one of our bigger issues.
This is interesting. And I feel like there's the fact that you're communicating it means that, like, the PowerPoint thing might sound silly, but that sounds like a better solution than having the same conversation again.
Well, now I feel like I came up with the PowerPoint, so I will be like, points off for originality there.
I'm going to make a collage.
Or in doing your idea, he's telling you that he actually respects your ideas.
Thank you.
He does all of my ideas, Teresa. Like, it's not about his actions.
Well, I don't know if you guys felt that this was effective, but I feel like you guys actually said a lot in here that change, like the details of from just saying the compliments were specific to where you got at the end was, to me, like there was growth. I don't know if you feel that.
I felt a journey.
I feel it, and I also really think that I relate to you, Kelsey. I know I'm taking Martin's side just because it's his confession, but we'll switch. But I relate to you because I'm the same. I'm literally constantly crying at my boyfriend. Like, I did tell him once I wanted a love letter, and then I didn't think he would actually do it, and he did.
Aww,
so
see, that's very sweet.
I did ask for it. I forgot about it, and then he did it. So
I think it would be incredibly unreasonable to want the things that I'm wanting and not say anything about it and somehow hold him accountable for that. I feel like that's like a recipe for disaster. So yes, I totally agree with that.
Yeah,
that's really cruel. I think that's cruel. I don't think
so maybe you'll get a PowerPoint presentation. I mean, it's got to be a surprise. So, well, Kelsey, is there anything you would like to tell Martin?
Okay, let me think of something.
Well, how about this? If I didn't know Martin and I was just like your friend, like a childhood friend or whatever, and running into you and you're telling me about him, like what's the first thing you say? Oh, what's he like?
I'd be like, this is Martin. He's my inside boyfriend. He doesn't really like outside as much as he likes inside.
Oh, there's a confession there. You don't like that I don't go outside as much?
Yeah, he's like bugs bite him, and like he's like
I get mosquito bites like nobody's business. If we're in the summer and we have the window open and one mosquito comes in and then we close the window and there's just one mosquito, I will get bit in the face 5 times. Like it's like they seek me out.
I get really allergic to bugs too.
Yeah, and how do you ever go camping or any of that? Like what do you do?
Yeah, literally, I have off and deep, like right there behind me.
And you still go
spray
anyways,
on myself when I go outside.
And you still go anyways, don't you?
Yeah, but that's me being a bisexual where I do things in a weird way that doesn't make sense. I'm like, I hate spiders, but also I love pooping in the woods.
And being a bisexual?
I don't know, I just feel like I contradict myself.
Bisexuality is a lot about liking spiders, Kelsey.
I contradict myself a lot. No, it's not really bisexual, but I don't know. A lot of the things
is that something people say? Is bisexual people contradict themselves a lot? Is that stereotype?
It's a thing I say.
Are you stereotyping yourself?
It's definitely a thing I say. I don't know if anyone else says it, but it's true for me, so it might not be true for others.
I feel I'm bisexual as well, and I feel pretty confident about myself.
Okay, well, I take it back. You can cancel me, woke mob.
You're canceled.
Woke mob.
I couldn't think of anything about Martin enough.
So he doesn't like going outside as much as you do.
Yeah, but like all things, like he doesn't like going roller skating, he doesn't like going skiing, he doesn't like going swimming, he doesn't like going.
I'm sorry I didn't grow up in the world of white people. I don't want to ski immediately.
You grew up on South Padre Island, on the island, on literally the beach, and he doesn't like the beach.
I've seen it, been there, done that.
We went to the beach together in LA, and I was like, this is just such a nice day. Like today's a day off, and he was like, I just don't want to touch the sand, and I was like, I guess I should find a new love.
Where did you grow up,
I should
Kelsey?
just be fine with being alone.
Look, I've grown a lot since then.
I guess I'm just living a life of like private loneliness.
Well, it's a good thing you guys can only be indoors right now. Well, no, I think this is interesting because I think activities that is a crucial part of relationships. Obviously, you guys have figured it out, but like to you, like a lot of the relationship, does it come in like doing activities and like going, like it sounds like you're like, oh, let's have a day at the beach.
Like being alive, I think, is doing activities and like doing things. And,
but if someone was like, do you want to cozy up by the fire and just like hang out at home, just you and me, or do you want to go to the boardwalk? Like,
yes, I'm amazingly capable of watching TV for days on end. I'm unbelievably.
Variety is a spice of life. I get it. I definitely don't like being blamed for you not doing something. The fact
I just wish I had a boyfriend who wanted to do things.
Oof,
do you feel that you want him to do things with you though? Like if you're going to a party, is it like different if he's like, oh, you can go, or if you're like, no, but I want to like be at a party with my boyfriend.
Yeah, I mean, my dream is for the love of my life to be around me and us to be having a fun time together.
And you feel like we don't?
We haven't been anywhere in years.
Yeah, it's hard right now.
We haven't been anywhere in years. It's unreasonable. No, it's because Martin is very fun if he puts himself out there and whatnot. But also, like, I'm a very weird person. Like, there have been times where, like, Martin 99% of the time does the socially acceptable thing. I'm 50-50. Like, 50% of the time I'm, like, not being socially acceptable. So that's its own mixed bag of, like, I wish you would go out with me more. But also at the same time, like, there's a chance you take me out and I'm going to definitely take you out of your comfort zone.
Interesting. So you're almost you're meeting in the middle of, like, you overlap in this space, but then if you go back towards your center and he goes back towards the center, you're over here. But then when you meet in the middle, it's like this perfect sweet spot. And I actually think I relate to Kelsey in this one about the going out because, a lot of my guy friends, and actually more comedian guy friends, because a lot of them will go out to meet girls or to like the straight ones at least, or to like hook up. And then once they're like in a relationship, they don't want to go out because they're like, I have a girlfriend. And I'm the opposite. I'm more like Kelsey, where I like to be out because I like to party. And then if I have a boyfriend, I like my boyfriend, so I want to be at the party with my boyfriend. So I understand that feeling, but I think that some people view going out for different, like, they're doing it for different reasons. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know Martin, like, well enough in the social scene to know that, but I'm guessing based on what you're saying, if he's shyer at home, that there's a mask that's, like, not a mask, like, in a deceptive way, but, like, this is how I get through my social anxiety, and I can kind of, like, relax a bit when I'm around my love. And then you're like, no, turn it on. I like it. Like, is that kind of how it feels?
I would be fine if he was at everywhere being totally quiet and just smiling
and
just like whisper to me and he's just having a fun
Get out of
time.
town with that. No, you want me to talk. You're always like, Martin, you haven't talked in forever. I'm like, okay, great. That's what everybody likes to hear in a social circle.
Then you have to talk when someone has said that.
Yeah, well, fucking that helps my anxiety of being like, all right, now say something. Martin, say a joke. Say something funny. What?
It's just hard to date a professional comedian who like can't. Like,
well, there's a reason. It's my job. I want it to be. I'm currently unemployed, but it's like a business thing. I mean, I definitely can open up a lot more at parties that are what I see as work events when it's not the fucking
but
office
I'm not
Christmas
even
party.
talking
I'm
about...
like, well, even maybe Christmas party, but like these like social hangouts of people who I'm like, and especially in the past year before quarantine, like it was. I think I was flying high, and then all of a sudden I found out that there's a bunch of people who are talking shit and who are dicks and totally mean and totally that I just don't like, and they're going to be at these places, and I have to fucking now put on a layer of like, how do I not just like get so angry or say the wrong thing, say something that's going to, because I know they're going to talk shit about it. I know people talk, I know, so it made me so not want to hang out at comedy events in that same way. But I love hanging out outside of those things. Like that's a lot better for me. Like party, like, oh, I don't really know anybody here. I only have like a couple friends. That sounds fun. That's what I like.
In a way, ties to what your confession about the being like you're complimentary because you love her, but you're trying to be as honest as possible. Like you are fun, but when you're around people that you don't, not that you don't respect them, but for whatever reason they've done something that you're like, I don't know if I like you as much for this behavior, you're not going to put on the fake face, which is kind of in a way like very true to yourself.
No, he will put on a fake face. He absolutely will put on a fake face.
I'll be neutral. I'll be neutral.
I won't put on a fake face, and Martin actually will.
Well, it's just like, I mean, I can think of like specific events where like this person comes up to me and I'm like, dude, I heard you were, I don't seek it out, but I heard you were fucking talking shit about Kelsey. And then now we have to fucking talk to him, and then Kelsey comes in and is like, I don't know who this guy is, and I'm just like boiling, but I'm also like not so angry because I'm like, I don't know, he's just like a guy, and the fact that he's like coming up to me to talk means that he just like is. Everyone's just figuring things out, and then I kind of get mad at my own anger, and I get sad at my own anger, and so it's just like I have like all these mixed feelings, and it's just like so much sometimes.
But
I just
we're talking
about
like very specific comedy related social anxiety, and I didn't bring up any of that. I didn't say like I want to go to comedy events.
You know what? Okay, wait. I'm going to interject because what Martin just said about the specific feeling of being angry but then keeping it in because it's like his own struggle, that is the kind of specific wording to me that feels like very true description of how he feels. That I know it's not a compliment in the way that you're talking of hyping up, but I see that as a way of like him showing love because he's like, I care about you so much and this makes me so upset that this person would talk about you, but also I don't want to embarrass you, and also it's just a guy like that. Right now I just feel like he expressed something about the way he feels about you.
I have never doubted, even for 1 second, how much Martin again, the compliment thing has almost nothing to do with Martin. It's for me.
I'm not saying that you doubt it. I'm just saying that you have different ways of expressing it. Like the way that you, like him keeping his anger and having all these feelings is a form of his expression of love. And your expression of love is wanting him to be around all the time because you love him and you want to show him off or like, you know, whatever. But it's
no, I don't even want him around all the time. I want him to be having fun with me when I'm like fine with being with other people or being alone and doing things alone.
Why is it different if you're home
on vacation?
Yeah, he's fun on vacation.
Well, let me ask, why is it different if you stayed home and had fun with each other? And I'm not saying there's a right or wrong. I like going out too. I'm just curious, like in your point of view.
Yeah, I mean, we stay home and have fun together every single day of the pandemic. I bought Mousetrap the second I found out we couldn't leave the house. I was like, let's figure out how Rube Goldbergs work. Like, our conflicts,
we play it every night.
Our conflicts are not with each other alone. Like, it's more about like the world and how we interact in the world, and what I'm looking for in the people around me is like an overwhelming positivity about me. I don't really care if you're a negative person, but about me, I want you to be really positive, and I'll throw that back at you. I'll be very positive about you.
I mean, that's a good philosophy to spread positivity, but in terms of the outdoor
it'll change people's lives. It'll change their lives if you start being overwhelmingly positive in an honest way.
Yeah,
you really mean it. It'll change someone's life to hear those things every day.
I think that is true, but I think that is a little different than your confession. But okay, I have one final question about your confession because I wonder if this like what is your, I guess I want both of you guys to describe like what's your ideal like Friday night, I guess pre-pandemic, because I think that you have different versions of what is like the gold standard, and I think that's why both of you are making sacrifices to meet each other, but then nobody feels like they're really getting the gold standard. Does that make sense?
Okay, I think my ideal night, tell me if I'm wrong, I think both of us are more or less the same. I think we start off, let's say Friday night, right? Okay, we're done with everything. We get semi-cute, both of us. We put on, our best jackets. We go out, we get drinks with each other. Then people meet up with us. Then we go to some sort of event or theater show or museum or some sort of activity all together. That's super fun. We're having a great time. There's food in there somewhere. Then at the end of the night, we kiss our friends goodbye. We come back home. We smoke a big fat blunt, and we watch TV until 5 o'clock in the morning, and we order Taco Bell. That is literally, I can't imagine you saying a different thing.
That sounds nice, yeah. That's exactly right. Except, say no to drugs. But other than that, absolutely.
Like, I don't think that the conflicts are like...
I mean, the movies was like definitely like a big one for me, and like theater, being able to go to like shows and shit like that. That is a thing I can center my night around, and I don't know. I'm just like a particular person, just like anybody is, and I just get stuff.
Like, I think he like acts like he's a turtle human for like.
Well, sometimes you make me feel like I'm a turtle human. I feel like, gosh darn, Dana Carvey.
I'm like a fucking
what you
mirror.
described sounds like a very, very nice night. I think that it has a lot of things in it, though. I will say that's what I noticed. It's a lot of things, and it seems like not everything's going to have all of it. Like, some nights it might just have one piece. And it seems like you guys both like the middle with all of it. But maybe if you had to cut parts, you might start by cutting different parts. Like, if one of you guys... do you guys always go home together from parties? Or do you ever go, like, I want to stay... with comedy parties, sometimes you have a ton of friends there. It's not a weird thing to leave without your partner at a comedy party. But I've found that I used to be like, oh, I got to stay if they want to stay. And now... boundary wise, I like to just be like, I don't want to be at this thing. Hey, I'm gonna go. And there's no
legit
right.
that's just based on distance. Like if it's like close enough that I'm like, yeah, I don't care, just leave.
Yeah.
But if it's really far, I'm like, well, I'm gonna take 2 taxis. That's insane.
Yeah, if it's in like Gowanus.
I'm like, no, you have to stay for 45
like,
more minutes. We're not gonna take 2 cabs.
Well, okay. Well, there's one time Kelsey was doing like a joint birthday party with somebody. And
No, I got springed into doing a joint birthday party. I was like, I can't even really remember agreeing to it, and I definitely did not plan.
So she was a casual bystander, but then kind of got roped into being like this joint birthday party. But we got invited to some like Hulu industry party thing, and there was an open bar, and we're like, we're gonna stop by there first, and then we'll go to the party. We'll be fine.
And we were absolute nobodies at this Hulu thing, so it was like so perfect.
It was wonderful.
Like I was wearing like my glitter jacket and like just a basketball jersey, and the person like signing me in was like, "Your name is on this list." I'm shocked.
It was great. And we just, open bar, and so by the time we know it, we're like, oh, we should probably get out of here. But I am just so wasted at that point.
Hammered.
That we kind of get nearby. We're taking a cab to the bar,
and I'm just like, I can't do it. And I was like, I don't think you should. You can't stand.
I was just like, you just get out here. You go in and tell them I'm sorry. I gotta go. And then so she goes in.
I go, I'm pretty drunk. And everyone's like, Kelsey, you're so late to your birthday. I'm like, I didn't plan this.
And they're like, where's
Martin? I'm like, he's super hammered. He couldn't come.
And then just driving by is me in the taxi cab with my head out the window, just hardcore vomiting, just driving away.
And I remember the person who like did this party for me was like very frustrated with me. And I was like, I just feel like I've been very honest about what was going on.
That to me sounds like a night that both of you guys signed off on, because like yes, there was the party thing, but it was like you guys did a thing together that had nothing to do with the other thing, and then at the end you're like, I need to go to make face at this thing, and then he like couldn't go, and it was fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's
I
the
would
example
never
I could
have not
think
gone.
of.
That would have been so rude of me not to go.
Yeah, I felt bad.
Martin felt bad not going.
I felt really bad, but I was vomiting.
Like, but it wasn't like about, it wasn't about you, and you knew that because he just spent the whole night with you. So it's not like you're not saying like he needs to be there for face.
Early. Yeah. I don't care any of those things. I feel like I just want him to go and to like want to go to things and to want to live. I want him to want to live.
Martin, do you want to live?
Most of the time. I do. And I had been trying, as I always will and will continue to do. But, it's just also so weird to be thinking about parties and going out and stuff right now.
I'm not like thinking about
it's
like
so odd
any of these like comedy related things. I mean, just like in
that
life,
so
you should just want to live life.
I was doing a show damn near every night. Like that is a big portion of my life. That
Well, I think that this is a good start because you guys have communicated a lot, and obviously, I'm not expecting you to like find the perfect solution now, but hopefully this didn't cause more problems. I learned a lot because this is the kind of thing where you guys actually were able to express your wants and needs, and then not just nobody was like codependent and like, all right, I guess whatever you want. Like I like that there is a conversation because I think that's healthy.
But do you feel like this is like anything new?
It's just always good to talk about it. I mean, I feel like it'll kind of culminate and we'll talk about it, and this feels like one of the times where we're talking about it and it's not because it has reached a boiling point or a tipping point or something where it's like now we need to talk about it. We're just like doing pretty good, and then now we're talking about it in a very comfortable environment, and also being able to like joke around, and we've discussed it enough that I feel comfortable talking about it publicly, I guess. So like that's something. But
I have a very cool, very nice boyfriend who treats me incredibly well, incredibly respectfully, who's very nice to me, very supportive of my dreams. That is a dream situation for any person looking for a significant other. On the other hand, me personally, I'm so interesting and fun and deserve an incredible life. I deserve to have fun and meet new people and interact with just randoms and do things that we didn't know we were going to do this morning. Look at what we're doing now. I deserve to have that kind of life. I don't feel bad about saying it. I don't think there's anything negative. I'm not talking about being like a luxury person and spending a lot of money. I don't equate fun and money at all, like, to just about doing things.
Yeah, and I think that's okay to want that for yourself, and it also feels like a healthy way to ask for it, because you're not saying that because he's not giving that to you, he's not enough. Like, you literally started by saying, I love you, and then you're like, well, we'll work on it. Like, it's like the conversation, right? You're like, oh, let me teach you how I want to be loved. But while you're learning that language, I'll also learn yours. And also, we already agree that we love each other. So it's not like, if you don't do this, like, you won't get my love. Which I feel like sounds silly, but a lot of people do approach relationships more on that, like, elementary side, where it's like, it's one or the other, instead of like, hey, this base is that we love each other. And then let's, like, learn the language and figure it out together. Does that feel like that describes your relationship? That's kind of what I'm seeing. I like that.
I feel like I just need to be more like yes man.
Yeah, he's best when he just says yes. I agree.
I think I just got to be Jim Carrey.
I think that it's healthy that you guys talk about this. I want to end on a game, like hopefully a fun game.
Oh my God, this is the end?
Bring us together. Do you feel there was more you needed to say? I mean, I feel like it's an ongoing conversation.
I feel like I didn't say anything good the whole time.
No, I feel that you communicated. What I think is really cool is that you both are able to talk truly about your feelings, even if at times, like, I grew up with a twin sister and we argue all the time, and from the outside people are like, you guys are always fighting. That's how we talk.
You're always communicating. Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
And you're building, and you're obviously, it's never like, if this conversation doesn't go my way, it's over. It's that you're actually trying to sort it out, which I feel is like different than having a fight for a fight's sake. Like, you're actually working towards something.
Yeah.
So hopefully that's hopefully that resonates.
Neither of us are very like fighty kind of people. Like, we're not really trying to. I don't think anyone's trying to win anyone over.
I am, and I'm winning. I'm in the lead.
You're definitely not. This is the only podcast I'm ever gonna read the comments about. And be like, what do these people think about our relationship? I don't know what I thought we were gonna talk about.
I think that this is great. It feels very honest, and this game is built on, it's called At Least at Most, and it's kind of built on this idea that it's always a conversation and non-binary. So hopefully this will be good for you guys. Marilyn Monroe once said, if you can't love me at my worst, then we have that in common. But love is more complicated than an Instagram affirmation, as I'm sure two influencers like you guys with massive followings understand. This game is inspired by the nuance of love, because relationships are not binary, or they're three-dimensional and they're not zero-sum. The way we frame ourselves against the world and people in it often subconsciously drive our own experiences through confirmation bias. For example, like, if I asked you guys, like, how many times have you said I love you? The connotation would be very different if you said at least 100 times versus at most 100 times. So in this binary twist of the classic couples, like,
I've been counting. It's 99. I refuse to do the 100th, or else.
This is a twist on the classic, like, who's more likely game. You know, like, who's more likely to do this? I'll ask you certain questions, and you have to just answer starting with at least or at most, and whatever answer you want.
At least or at most.
Yeah.
And we're answering together or separately.
I'll give you guys take turns. So we'll start with both of you.
We're taking turns.
Yeah, we'll start with a question for both of you. So whoever wants to answer first. And they're kind of silly. So for both of you, how many followers does the other person have? You can answer Instagram or Twitter.
And we're saying at least or at most.
Yeah, like, Kelsey, how many do you think Martin has?
He has at most 10,000 followers.
Okay.
At most.
Okay, Martin. What about Kelsey?
Wait, that's just like on Instagram or something, on Twitter. I don't really know.
Whichever, you can pick.
I know she has like at least like 5,000 on.
So he said
Twitter.
at least, and I said at most.
Okay, well, you're both correct.
But also
actually.
On Rizzle, the app we're hopping, we have thousands and millions of followers.
You know what I love about this is you both got it correctly, but you both answered it a different way. So Martin has right now 9,397 followers.
And it dwindles every day.
At most at 10,000. Kelsey has 6,013, which at least you guys both got it correct.
A 1. But like, do the
That's great.
listeners think that's reasonable? Don't they think that maybe
Followers
I
don't
should
matter. It was more just a
based
fun
on-
question.
Quality, not
I can
quantity.
also bleep out the
on-
followers answer if that's weird.
No, I love it.
It's important.
Okay, Martin, how many of Kelsey's shows have you been to?
At least 2. So many. So many. I think I would go to most, probably.
People used to say about us when they would, or people used to say this to me a lot. I don't know if they'd say to, I don't know. But people would get drunk sometimes and they'd be like, yeah, but the thing about like you and Martin is like you guys are like really actually like always at each other's shows, like in a way where it's like it's because you're just spending time together, and it's like, how do you get that?
Huh. I don't even know what that means. As opposed to what?
Like,
not wanting to
some
spend time
some
together?
people who are in comedy relationships, you don't see them at each other's shit
even if
ever.
they're in comedy relationships or just like in just not non-comedy
Mm-hmm.
relationships, I think there's people go to the big shows and then
Yeah.
not like every single show, and we
I see,
kind
I
of
see.
would, especially for a while there.
We'd
go
just
to
be, like,
kind of
hanging
every
out.
One of our
Yeah.
shows. We're just
Legit
like,
though,
yeah,
it's
let's
like
do something after kind of thing.
we'd be doing shows, and then the people would just be like, "Oh, hey, you're here too. You want to do the show?" And like that would happen to both of us so often.
That's like a perk. One time I brought my ex to a show and just to watch, and then they asked me to go up, and they didn't ask him, and he got really upset. So I stopped doing it.
Yes.
He was like, "You
Nice.
tricked me." I was like, "I didn't know this was gonna happen."
Yes. I love it.
Uh,
Wait, were
To
you
be fair.
dating?
We were
at
dating, but the
time?
show was also like specifically like kind of a diverse lineup, and he was a white guy, and it was like I
mean,
I
I felt
would
all of
have
those
put you
things.
up if I was hosting, but I'm not the host, and I stopped doing that. But anyways, that was my ex, so it's fine. Okay, Kelsey, how many Amazon reviews has Martin written?
None? Do you do it?
At least or at most.
At least not. At least none.
So at most one.
At most. Have you written any Amazon reviews? I mean, I could imagine him doing it, but I feel like he would have talked about it.
I have written one for this happy lamp that we have, because it came with a little card that was like, if you leave a 5-star review, we'll give you a $20 Amazon gift card. And I was like, $20 Amazon gift card? Hell yeah.
Okay.
So I did a review,
So how
and then I
many-
emailed, and then I never heard anything back.
So
So,
how
I kind
many
of forgot about it.
scams has Martin participated in? I'd say at least 10.
That sounds about right. Probably 10
That's a
scams.
different question.
I'll
But
do
yeah,
anything for
we
money.
got there.
Yeah, so you're correct again. Okay, Martin, how many podcasts has Kelsey been a guest on?
Ooh, at least... Probably at least in the 20s. At least in the 20s.
Oh my god, do you have the answer?
I don't
to
actually
this?
have the answer.
Yeah, I was like, I would love to know.
Does that sound right
Does that
to you?
feel correct?
I could
No,
say
it's
maybe
gotta
like in
be
the 30s.
I honestly think it's probably like 40. Like I've done so many podcasts.
So then he's
Yeah.
right. He went with at least. Okay.
He's
let me-
not right. He got it in half. What?
I said at least minimum. I'm like, I know you've done.
Does this podcast like have a tint of feeling sorry for Martin?
No. I said you were right too earlier. Okay.
I am right.
You know what? Okay, let me end with this one. Kelsey, how many pictures do you have of Martin on your phone? Wait, I think it has to be the other way around for it to be a guess. How many pictures does Martin have of you on his phone?
I mean, a better question, how many pictures are not of me? At most 5 out of
At most 5. Is that correct, Martin?
are not of me.
Oh, of you.
So,
Oh, not
so
of you.
thousands are of me.
Yeah, I've
Thousands of photos.
I have a lot of pictures of Kelsey. And also, here's the thing. I'll sometimes just be like, stop, we got to take a picture right now, and then take a picture, and then I'll never post it anywhere. I'll never do anything with it, because I'm like, it's just for my own memories. It's for my own life.
But that's
Yeah.
the kind of thing you think like a year or
Look,
2 years.
this is just of his legs. It's my
Aw.
background. I tried to
I'm
get
a
his
big-
whole body,
I'm a
but
big
it didn't
memory
go.
hoarder, so I condone it, because what happens is then in 10 years you look at all of them and you want to see everyone. But usually in 2 or 3 years you're like, why do I have all these different sunrise pictures? But
You know what I do, and I'll suggest this to anyone who has been relating to my personality while listening to this. And if you haven't been and you're like, she sounds awful, this is not something you'd like or do. So so go fuck yourself. But if you're like me, here's something you'll probably like. You're with a group of friends, you know, you're all hanging out drinking at someone's house, or you're at your mom's house, whatever. Just take your phone, go to AirPlay, just throw up some of your best memories, and then just start telling people what was happening. It's like forcing people to watch your slideshow of your vacation, but of your whole life.
Wow, I didn't know you could do that. You just gave me a great idea for my next date.
You absolutely can do it. It's so fun. And then the only thing that happens is like after probably like 30, 45 minutes, someone goes, why are we doing this? And then you're like, oh, you're the person we like least.
I have definitely gone through my iPhone notes, only to my boyfriend, but I'll read him old poems, and it's because we've run out of things to do, and he's very nice and listens to me. And then I listen to him talk about Bitcoin and the stock market, so it's fair.
That's very sweet.
That's a fair trade. Never heard of fair trade.
It sounds like you're both bringing things to the table that are different and interesting, and I appreciate that about your relationship.
Oh, thank you. Well, thank you too for coming on. Yes. Oh, did you have another?
I have another confession.
Okay.
I guess I just feel like we could both bring more to our relationship. We could both be more like they have like different things they're talking about.
Yeah. I agree.
We could both be talking about new interesting things.
That's fair.
I'll teach you how to get into Bitcoin.
Sometimes
I like that. I learned something
I'll get really
from
into
you.
Bitcoin if that's what you want. I definitely think we get bogged down in just the same conversations, especially relating to comedy and entertainment and stuff. So we need to break out of that cycle sometimes.
What is your suggestion for breaking the cycle of having the same conversation over and over?
Ooh, comedy is interesting because at the same time, it's so nice to have a partner who understands the sadness of comedy things. But having been in mostly comedy relationships that were not healthy, and then now being
most of your relationships have been with comedians.
I've had
or most of your comedy related. Okay, wait.
I would say that's probably my first real healthy relationship in general. But unless you count the one with Ariana Grande, because I am her top fan. But I think this is actually my legitimate advice, which take it or leave it, because once more, I don't have a success rate of dating comedians, is that you at first want that feeling of they get it, but at the end of the day, I think wanting the partner is more important. And so they can't be both your partner and like your cheerleader and manager and like fan. You kind of want someone who's like equal as a partner, who can tell you if like, because sometimes you'll want them to tell you if like, oh, the script sucks or whatever. But if you're only coming to them for like cheerleader advice or making you feel good, then you'll lose that partnership part. But I don't know. I'm not like,
there are people out there who want criticism. That's insane. That is crazy.
Well, I think it's truthful criticism, not like you're bad, but like, oh, well, you're so good. This is what I think would make it the thing that you want it to be, you know?
Totally. I mean, like, yeah, I want your eye, Kels.
No, that is like so something that happens.
What?
Like that you're like, Kelsey, what do you think of this?
Yeah, I want your critical eye, because I trust your opinion, because I think you're really cool and smart and good and funny and interesting.
Well, Kelsey, when you not critique yourself, but when you edit your own writing, it's not considered that you're not like, I hate myself or I'm a bad writer when you edit, right? So I feel like that kind of partnership where you're like, what do you think? It's not them being like, hey, tell me I'm great. It's like they're asking, if you wrote this, how would you self-edit? If that makes sense. But it is tricky because feelings, and of course insecurities of comedy. So I don't know. I've never had a very good success rate with that, but
I guess I'm like so aware of how quickly I could kill an idea for another person, and I just am very aware that they could do the same for me. Because if someone doesn't see what you see, then you can pretend like you're really strong and you'll just pull through, but no matter what. But usually you pretty much just like it dies inside of you, right?
Sounds very specific to you, but I'm sure you'll.
No, does everyone feel that way?
A little bit, but
because
you express it in such an interesting way.
You come up with just these little tiny ideas, and like
there are people like that in my life that I don't. My mom, who I love for many other reasons, is someone like that. If I even say like, hey, this can't be fun, and just to riff, like just to have it out there, immediately she'll find a way to deflate it. And now I realize, I just don't go to her.
Yeah, I just don't do it.
Yeah.
I mean, same thing with like my parents. I mean, I just don't really. For the longest time, I wouldn't share my work with them, and I'm like, you'll see the TV sets. That's good. I don't need you in my. I don't know, but as I've gotten kind of older and like more mature, I'm like, okay, I can understand that where they're going to come from. So, and I find it very valuable to be like, I mean, they're very middle America. Yeah. So I'm like, I want that taste of what's the distance between me, a coastal elite, to the sort of where the middle America's wavelengths are at. And I'm like, there's a lot more crossover than I think I gave it credit for when I was growing up, and that I can see more now, where I'm like, yeah, you know what, Mom? Criminal Minds is a lot of fun, and it's a network, just like a network show that's gone on for seasons, and yeah, it's fun.
But there are people who make interesting, great things that I like, and who like things that I like, that still don't like things that I really like and don't understand them. Yeah. And that will never stop. Yeah. Ever. Like, sure, ever. And I will make things that people like or don't like and don't understand, and like, that's okay.
And you'll probably make stuff that you in your lifetime change your own taste. So I feel like to hold someone else to that standard, because I mean, I don't know, but I mean, there's things I look back, I'm like, oh, I would have done this differently. But like, I value someone being in the present more. So I don't think I think knowing that they accept you and letting you make those mistakes is valuable. But I do get it. It's very hard. I've never been able to fully let go of wanting the validation from like a peer, even if we're in a partnership. So it is very tough.
Yeah.
I just think like overwhelmingly positive environments are the only ones that people enjoy being in. And like, people can accomplish like tons, but like, then they'll be alone and be like, why do I feel so bad?
Very true.
And it'll always be like that.
Well, I appreciate your positivity, and I'm really glad you guys came on the show. It was so fun to talk to you two. Where can people find you guys? Do you guys have anything you want to plug?
We live in the East Village. If you want to come over, there's construction happening outside of our house, so you'll just find it.
I have a show every Monday that you, Teresa, were just on last night. And it's so every Monday. It's
she was really funny on
269 with Martin Urbano. It's a Twitch virtual streaming show, thanks to the Twitch channel Planet Scum. Every Monday, it's my game show, and I've been doing it for weeks, and I have a lot of fun with it, and sometimes it gets overwhelming, but always the day after, I'm just like, hell yeah, it's awesome. I have so much fun doing it.
It's super fun.
Thanks for doing it.
It's such a good show. It's so fun to watch.
You're great, and I appreciate you.
Kelsey, what about you?
Me, I'm planning on just doing like more fun things with my life. So if you're someone who's like ready to go kayaking or like go to like a very tall building or like maybe urban exploring, some like pandemic good things to do, then you can find me there. Other than that, I don't think you're going to be able to find me. It's not going to happen. You got to be having more fun.
Okay, cool. Well, you can follow Kelsey and Martin at Kelsey_Caine and at Martin Urbano. Follow this podcast at Tell Me Anything Pod, and follow me at Larissa T on Twitter and Instagram. Thank you.